Welcome to the Short Funk Podcast. I'm Tom Barbalet, and today, somewhat whimsical topic associated with the Nazis. Fancy that. What would you think, a short funk topic like that? I've often wondered, associated with the effects of ideology. And the particular snapshot that captures me is the end of the Second World War, moving into the 1950s. Let's start off with von Braun, the Nazi scientist who built rockets with slave labour, and then went on to become the grandfather-like character of NASA. Is it possible for the scientists, the economists, the propagandists, the wide variety of folk who escaped Nazi Germany to come and rebuild the US, or, more importantly, move the US into its superpower status? Could their ideology, could their Nazi ideology have in fact polluted the technology, the economics, and clearly the propaganda that they brought with them? Were these abilities, these means, when framed in the culture of Nazism, perturbed in such a way that what would be created would have to embody fascism in one regard or another? This is one of the ideas that ultimately I don't have an answer for clearly. I have a sense that fascism would continue even without the pragmatic racism, even without the hostile anti-Semitism. These kind of ideas, I think, can be slightly removed from the ideology. But ultimately, the ideologies that these people brought with them were fundamentally compatible with fascism and fundamentally incompatible with a wide variety of other ideas. When you look at the Nazi state, particularly the combinations of industry, military, and government, these factors allow for things like NASA. Certainly these factors shaped the economy of America following the Second World War, but more importantly, the propagandists, the folks who had taken particular ideological perspectives from the Nazi regime, came to the US with such a frequency, participated so heavily in Hollywood, participated so heavily in industry, in the marketing of a variety of things, that elements of this fascist ideology permeated into American culture. Not that American culture was without fascism leading up to this point, but to have the most brilliant minds of the Nazi state come to the US and continue their life's work begs the question, could there have been any other circumstance? Could there have been any other way that these ideas embodied in humans coming to the US could not have promoted the fascist experience that many folk lament associated with the US today? Is it possible to have a denazification of these ideas? Could it have been possible to create the space race without utilizing the skills of someone who had used slave labor in his prior country? The economics of Nazism, in particular the way in which industry continued to operate and removed itself fundamentally from humanity, is such a blueprint for contemporary America as to be actually quite chilling when studied. I reflect on these ideas with the perspective that it would be unlikely now for this degree of analysis to be done. But it is something that as I read a variety of different sources, I reflect very heavily on what the cost of a society is when you bring in a group of people that have been so heavily indoctrinated by an ideology which is ultimately perpetuated since the fall of the Nazis at the end of the Second World War. Tom Barbalet in San Jose, signing out.